for you being in your 30s, do you still have like New Year resolutions?
Oh no, man, I've given up on that many years ago.
Hello and welcome to the 2030 podcast, a show hosted by someone in their 20s
And someone in their 30s.
where we talk about life, purpose, growth, and relationships from the perspective of a 20-year-old and a 30-year-old.
Because what makes sense at 20 can look very different by 30. I'm Jane.
And I'm Sky. This is 2030. So welcome everybody to our very first episode of 2030 podcast. It's a new
Yay.
milestone for us.
It's a new milestone, 2026.
Yeah, it's something
Checklist.
very new for
Yep.
both of us. To be honest, starting a podcast in 2026, totally unexpected. It's not in my bucket list at all. But I'm really glad that we are doing this today. So thank you, Jane. Want to join me today, do this podcast together. And yeah, I think we've been friends for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like almost a year already.
Almost a
We've
year.
gotten to know
Wow.
each other. And Jane is in her 30s. I'm in my 20s. But even so, I don't know why, we just seem to vibe very well. Whenever I talk to you, our chemistry just seems to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very it seems very fluid lah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're very literate as well. I really like talking to you. And somehow, whenever we talk, there's just always something new that I can learn as a 20-year-old learning from a 30-year-old. And I think that time we were like nasi lemak, we were eating nasi lemak.
Nasi lemak shop. Yes.
Nasi lemak shop.
Nasi lemak for life.
Yeah, and then we were talking and we were like, I think it's quite exciting to start a podcast together,
Yes.
right? We wanted something exciting this year, something new where we can share new things with whoever is going to be watching this,
Yes.
learning from each other and just growing together.
Yeah.
And so I thought one of the best ways was through our 2030 podcast that we are finally doing today. So yeah, you excited?
I am beyond excited. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm excited. I think it's kind of a nice thing to finally putting an idea into
Yeah.
action,
Yes,
right? And
exactly.
just putting myself out there, for both of us, right? Putting ourselves out there, seeing what works. So so just having fun in the process of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our very first episode, a very important episode because it's our pilot. We are currently recording this in February.
Yep.
It's Chinese New Year right now. We're celebrating as we are recording our first episode, and can say we are still in New Year vibe lah. Still in the beginning of 2026. And I'm not sure about you, but me being in my 20s, I have never failed. Every single year, right? I would always have a New Year's resolution.
Oh, nice.
It's something that I've just been doing for the past, I think, like 5-6 years. I've been doing consistently. And it got me to think, like, I'm pretty sure even at 30, you still have goals that you want to achieve. You still have new things that you want to get
Yep.
this year, you want to experience this year. But I'm wondering, for you being in your 30s, do you still have like New Year resolutions?
Oh no, man, I've given up on that many years ago. I think in my 20s, I was very driven. I mean, it's like you, full of energy, full of ambition, full of the hustle. I think then something shifted in the 30s. I think I slowed down a little bit much more. My values and my perspective has actually changed as well. So it's not to say I don't have goals. I do have goals, but somehow I no longer put resolutions. I no longer set resolutions. The mindset shift is different though. So I know what my goals are, and I have milestones and steps for me to achieve them, versus writing down resolutions and forcing myself to hit it. Yeah, so it's different from me. What about you?
Yeah. I feel that resolutions are key to giving me a good momentum for the year. Usually for me, I think for most of us, November, December, it's holiday season. We'll slow down a little bit, tire down a little bit. November, I just got engaged last year. Wow.
Congratulations.
So that was like, after that, it was like very hard for me to get back into the working mood, And so like every time we are starting off a new year, a new season, right? It's very important for me to actually have that list of resolutions. What do I want to change? What do I need to fix? And I'm in my 20s. To be honest, at this age, I feel like I'm very driven. I'm still in that very semangat, very, very ambitious stage of my life where I do everything, I hustle as hard as I can, but sometimes it does get tiring as well. And I want to know, like, in terms of you right now, maybe you can share as well, if you don't mind going a bit personal. You as a 30-year-old right now, what would you say are like the biggest goals for you at your current stage?
So it's very different, right, from being in the 20s. So I definitely could relate from what you're saying. So in the 20s, definitely, I think what was important for me in my 20s was actually having success, having titles, having careers, climbing the corporate ladder. Because I think in our society right now, a lot of people are comparing with each another, right? Who has the best job? Who has the most highest paying job? Who's flying around the world? Who bought their first house? Who's getting married? Who's getting engaged? So there's a lot of comparing that's going around a lot,
exactly.
right? So in the 20s. And I think growing up as well, family expectations and people's expectation of you. So it sort of weighs very heavily onto me when I was in my 20s, right? And that resulted in a lot of people pleasing. A lot just trying to appease people and making them feel good and just maintaining the peace. So that was me in my 20s, right? So doing things that's beyond my capability, saying yes for the sake of saying yes, but in expense to my personal health, even my mental health per se, right? So in 30s, and it's just recently, I think I would say, past maybe 1 to 2 years, right? It shifted a little bit in a sense where I started practicing more healthier boundaries, right? So just say for work career, I mean, like in 30s, I think a lot of people in their 30s could definitely relate. Mental burnout is real. Because we hustle so much in our 30s, but we sort of still stuck in a mouse wheel, still being trapped, so like
the rat race.
As high as you go, but do you have time to spend time with your loved ones, right? Because if you work so hard, are you always feeling tired? Do you wake up hating Mondays? Right, so I went through that motion where I wasn't happy waking up on Mondays. I dreaded Sundays. I have anxieties. I hated Mondays. I wasn't spending quality time. So yeah, I think goals have shifted. So in a sense where I value peace right now, I practice healthier boundaries. I say no when I need to.
Yeah.
I'm much more selective with the people in my circle, right? So those who do not deserve or do not are not genuine or whatnot, if they're just very negative, then I choose not to be around those people, right? So that I decided to just put me first. So in my 30s, I'm not putting my company first, not putting my boss first. I'm actually practicing healthier boundaries for myself and just having that healthier mental state. So what about you, Sky?
Okay, so usually when I create a New Year's resolution, there's 5 things, 5 different areas of my life where I kind of self-reflect and I think, this year, which part do I need to improve a bit more? There's a few parts. Firstly is financial. Of course, we can't deny financial is really important, right? Secondly is health. And in terms of my health, how do I feel right now? Do I feel like I'm dying? How's my medical checkups? How's things going for my body? Thirdly is my relationships. Right? How are things going with me and my fiance, with me and my family, with me and my friends, right? It doesn't matter if I'm really good at my finance, if I'm really healthy and I'm really buff, but I don't have good relationships, right?
True.
Fourth is also my character, my personal growth. Do I think that I'm growing as a person? I'm getting wiser each and every day. I'm getting smarter each and every day. Am I reading enough books or whatever? Yeah. And lastly is, might be a bit more individual for me, but spirituality as well, because I'm a Christian. I'm very, very active in church as well. So I feel like success, it can't be just one of this. You agree? Right? It can't be just financial, but everything else you're doing shit, right?
Yep.
That can't work, right? It can't be just you're good in your relationships, but your character is a mess, right? Success is holistic. And usually whenever I'm starting up like a new resolution or a new goal, for me, I would look at these 5 areas and which part of this do I want to chase. Specifically for me, right now, as someone in their 20s, what is very urgent is in the first part, which is financial. I'm not sure about you, but right now at this stage, especially with the existence of social media, back then maybe you don't have social media lah.
Not that old lah.
What do you guys have?
Not that old lah. Facebook,
Do you guys like send letters back then?
Facebook, Friendster, MySpace.
I thought you were still using like the cup, you put the string.
ICQ. Ow.
Yeah, like right now we have social media, and it's so easy for me to compare myself, to be honest, with people around me. There are people who are, they graduated from the same school as me, they are the same age as me, they come from a similar family background as me, yet they are much more successful than me. And that brings me down lah sometimes. That comparison, even though we know don't compare, the grass is always greener on the other side. We have that mentality where don't compare. Yeah, you are your own competition. Just try and be the better version of you. We have that mindset, but when you're looking at them, sipping their coconut in the Bahamas or going for trips every now and then, you can't help but compare sometimes. And there are people who are like in they're 22, they already have a car. They're 23, they already have a home. They are 24, they already have like a running business and they can just chill. And there is that urgency, and I think there's that philosophy or that principle that is feeded towards people my age, where you need to be successful as fast as possible. You need to work as hard as possible right now. I mean, like, working hard is good. It's a good thing, but there is that urgency. And to be honest, it's a very big pressure lah. Sometimes you feel like there's so many people putting their expectations on you. I'm the eldest son. I'm not sure about you.
Youngest.
You're the young. Oh, yeah, I'm very different, both of us. and I'm maybe there's a gender difference as well. I'm a guy. I come from a family that, to be honest, there was a moment we struggled financially, and there were moments when my parents had to tell me, "Oh, you gotta really save your money. You can't buy this. You can't buy that. Jimat lah, jimat." Yeah. And it took a toll seeing my dad. He's already in his 50s. Yet he still needs to work hard. Yeah, he still needs to, pour blood, sweat, and tears. Whereas, most people in their 50s, they will already retire, and I look at my dad and I just think to myself, oh, I don't want to be like that. I hope that I can retire them. I hope that I can provide the best for my family, for my fiance, for myself. And there is that big pressure that I face sometimes, which leads to that urgency lah. Yeah, but that's for me specifically.
Are you sure you're in 20s? My God, when I was in my 20s, I was still partying,
I just came back from a medical checkup this morning. Okay, and then
I think you're 40s lah. You're uncle lah.
Okay, sorry maybe my age by number, I'm in my 20s but just this morning I went for a medical checkup, right?
Yep.
I went for fatty liver checkup, and then they check out my body. The results were all normal lah. But then there was one stat over there that said, your body age, and then it was 32. I was like, okay, maybe it's time for me to start focusing on my health.
So I think in one of your pillars, health is something that you need to put as focus and hit to the gym.
Yeah, but I think like right now for this year specifically, I think for me it's finance. It's also my relationships. That's something that I learned to really, really, really value as well this year. And health. These three pillars, I think, are things that I got to improve on. But what about you? Right now in your 30s, is finance still a very big key thing that you are looking for in your 30s? I mean, I know that you are probably much more stable, very, very stable, even thriving up there, right? But it's like, financial gain, like being rich, being like those super multi-millionaire rich. I believe you had those dreams before previously, right?
Yes and no. I mean, I would say, being in the 30s, I used to chase, like I said, careers, promotions, money. But then I have a couple of my friends, right? They are head of departments, they're directors, they're in the C-suites, right? But they're not happy. They work round the clock, right? And they don't see their family. I have one of my girlfriends who works long hours and she comes back and her daughter's really asleep. Right? And the next day she gets up and she goes to work again. So she only probably gets to see her family during the weekends. Okay? So, but for me, yeah, financial is still important. Not being the millionaire per se, probably maybe find someone who's a millionaire, marry him,
Ooh.
right? Maybe.
Ooh.
Alright. But definitely, I think in this economy right now that we're facing, a lot of things have just gotten more expensive. Back then, our parents' time, it's so much cheaper and much more affordable to buy a house, to buy a car.
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
think that's where the pressure comes from as well. So I think a lot of people my age struggle with, I compare with my friends as well. Some of them, they have multiple properties, right? Multiple cars, jetting off elsewhere. Because again, their position and salary allows them to do so.
Yeah.
But one thing I realized that for me, when I used to chase money, which means I had to work harder. When I had to work harder, I was way much more stressed out. And I always look forward for quarterly vacations just to get out of the reality that I was in. Because I was so desperate needing a break, right? So I think that was one of the major burnout, okay? But for now, I do what I can. I have side hustles and side pockets in a way, just for sustainability, save up whenever I can. But I think the currency for me personally that I value right now is time. Time with family. I'm a mama, I've got 2 kids, right? And they're only young at this time and age. And I can remember when I was a kid, I said I was the youngest, right? But I was always alone. Because my parents were working, I was playing Barbie dolls by myself. I was really constantly by myself because my parents were always hustling and always working, right? And I felt that piece of my childhood, which I didn't like. So I don't want to be that parent to my child. So I want to make sure that I spend equal amount of time with them. Because they're probably going to get sick of me when they're older, right? So they're like, "Mommy, I don't want you anymore," right? So, but that happens, right? We all go through that phase,
Yes,
right?
correct.
So, but while they're still young, and I think time is something that we can't reverse,
Exactly.
right? So I think that's important for me, to be able to spend time with them while working and hustling as well. So I think priority is just so financial wise, I think it's still there. But no longer chasing the titles, the point. I mean, what's the point of having money, a lot of money, if you don't have health, if you don't have good relationships?
Exactly.
Right? So I think having a balance is good, so that the skills, I would say, it's probably a bit more balanced. So I think in my 30s right now, it's just striving for balance versus pushing and pushing and pushing at the end, because I see my friends, they hate Mondays, they hate their job, and when you reach to a certain title, and sometimes you get stuck and where do you go? Where do you go next? Because when you work at a certain title and position, your salary bracket is at a certain position and your lifestyle obviously matches your salary, right? So you can't find something that gives you lower stress, then which means your lifestyle has to be compromised. Yeah, so that's for me different in my
it has to be a holistic thing.
Yeah, I think it's different for everyone in different walks of life. I mean, if just say if you're single, you're not married, you're not attached, then you can hustle because I think work becomes their life, becomes their personality, right? But if you are someone with family, then I think probably the values are different. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's me.
It's really good. So that's probably like what success is to you, lah.
Yeah, I mean, what success is to me is just having balance, I would say, at this point right now. Balance of health, balance of a career that I go to, I enjoy working, but I come back, I still have people that I look forward to when I come back, versus like empty house or something that's missing. So that's what success to me looks and feels like.
I understand.
How about you 20s?
Success. I think in the eyes of most 20-year-olds, success is what I'm chasing, what I feel I'm chasing. Money, prestige, I would say, reputation. It might sound pretty dumb lah.
No, it doesn't.
But to be honest, it is something that we really value and we try to strive to get. Stability, I would say. For me right now, success for me is stability. I am a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. Well, at a really, really young age, I decided to leave and start something of my own. luckily lah, thank God lah, I'm still here lah. I can still take care of myself. Even provide for a few people with what I've managed to build in my business. But it's something that I also kind of not bad There are some moments where I feel like I can pat myself in the back.
You do deserve a pat on your back. Come on, man. At your age.
But yeah, sometimes humans are, it's never enough. Sometimes there's always somebody above you, and you forget to look at how much you've went through to get where you are.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, if you're constantly, because you keep on shifting the goalposts.
Yeah.
You keep on shifting the goalposts when you've done and what's next, right? But I think if I could give an advice for someone in my 30s to 20s is that never forget what you have achieved. So the journey, as much as there's a destination, but enjoy the journey that you go through, because you can't turn back time. You can't turn back time. You're already in your 20s once, so as much as you're hustling, my advice would be don't forget to live a little, have a bit of fun while you're at it. Because I've known you for quite some time, right? I know you work all the time, right? And you sleep at late hours and whatnot. Even when you went for your vacation, you were still working, right? So my advice would be, it's okay sometimes just to unplug for a bit and just focus on you. As much as finance is important, relationship, families, but you're important too. You matter.
Yeah. Well, that's really good. That's great. Then, what would you say is the biggest pressure for you at your age right now? Just how you mentioned, success to you is like time, right? Having that time, having that, there were those moments with your kids, right? With the people you really care about, your me time, being alone and just not hating Mondays, enjoying what you do. That's success to you. But is there a particular pressure that you feel?
For sure. Not just myself personally. I think in someone probably in their 30s, financial. In financial would always be one of the main core pillars.
Okay.
Yeah, financial would mean some people in the 30s have not even bought their first house yet. They're probably still renting, right? But I think having a house is one of the big pressures as well for people in my age, right? And I think marriage as well. So back then, people used to get married at the late 20s. Not you per se, but I believe he has shifted. I believe that right now, the way people date, the way relationships are formed right now, and also with the current economy, people are choosing to settle down later. Later, maybe towards their late 30s or probably mid 30s or so, right? So I think the pressure is still there in the sense of when you're getting married, and then parents coming from when am I going to get my grandchild. Those kind of pressures exist, and I think comparing will always also be one of the main core pillars where everyone just want to seem that they're doing well. Right? They want to seem that they're doing well. They have the perfect job. They have the perfect family. They have the picture perfect Instagram moment, right? But it's not necessarily usually the case, right? Yeah. So I speak to many of my close friends, and everyone faces similar things, right? Similar issues where the pressure is of financial, relationships, marriage, and I think having a young family as well. I think one of the biggest thing would be trying to figure out the modern parenting versus traditional.
Modern parenting versus traditional. This can be a whole episode by itself. Yeah.
How I grew up having the parents' expectations. And I think a lot of us millennials are trying not to be the parent that we had. So which means overcompensating and just giving the life to our kids, the life that we wish we had.
You wish you had and you didn't receive.
Yes, I think that's one of the biggest pressure as well. That I think people my age group, actually, a lot of us are dealing with it right now. Yeah.
I see. I'm going to ask you a bit of a deep question.
Go ahead.
This year, if there's one thing that you can achieve, there's one thing in you can only choose this one thing that you have to and you will achieve. As a 30-year-old, what would that be?
Wow. Deep. So I actually, at the start of the year, had a couple of things listed down, things that
So you had the resolution.
Not really resolution, like things that I want to keep myself in check.
Okay.
So I actually put up a Instagram reel about it so that I keep myself accountable. Yes, keeping myself accountable, right? So I think that I listed about 10 things there. But for me personally, I mean, career-wise, I'm still hustling. Health-wise, I'm working out. I'm feeling
you're
healthy.
awesome, man.
I'm still doing all that. But for me, the biggest thing that I would like to work on this year is my personal growth. I've always worked for companies, worked for bosses, giving them more and beyond what my general job scope is, right? And my own personal growth has actually taken a step back, right? So I think meeting you has made me see a different lens to it.
Really?
Yeah, a different lens to it where if I can do things for companies and brands, why not try something for myself?
For yourself.
For myself,
Exactly.
yeah. So I think where I'm keeping myself accountable is just working on my personal growth.
Your personal growth, your personal brand.
Personal growth, personal brand,
we are in that era right
relationships as well. I think knowing what my standards and boundaries are and just keeping to it. It can be hard, but if there's a point for reminder, and then as long as it's making me a better person, then I think that's for me, it's important. What about
very good.
you?
Oh, this is
Well,
the
your
question
new
that
question.
Usually when you ask someone a question, it's because you want them to ask you back.
Yes.
For me, this year, one thing, if I could just achieve one thing, I would say but it's something that is, I would say, wishful thinking. I don't think I'm able to achieve this
That's
kind of
always
thing.
next year.
That's always next year. Right? But this question, after this, I have a follow-up question that I want to ask you as well. For me, if there's one thing that I can achieve for this year, this might be something quite personal to me, but I want to feel proud of something I built. I think you know what I do. I currently run a creative agency. On the side, I also own a cafe with my younger brother. So I'm trying to do as many things as possible. But at the same time, I feel like I'm trying to do everything, but not one of them is like, thriving, if you get what I mean. And especially this year, in the beginning of the year, maybe like December lah, I had a really hard time accepting what I built. I felt like there's this sense of, I'm not proud of it. Oh, what? Like I put in a lot of work on it, but at the same time, when I look at it, I feel like a bit malu. I feel like there's still so many things that I need to do. There's still so many things that I need to fix within this company, within this business, and maybe if we compare with other people around my age, it might feel like there's so many things that I've already been through. But for me this year, I just want to feel proud of what I have and what I'm running again. Finding that purpose again in what I'm building. There's this one quote, right? It's about burnout. Last year, I think around November or October, I had the biggest case of burnout that I've ever felt in my whole life. I've never felt burnt out like that before. I totally I didn't think that my business was worth building at that moment. Truth be told, maybe my partner will listen to this, but I really thought of shutting down Da Vinci. I really thought of shutting down.
No, who's gonna run my stuff?
I really thought of closing down.
Yep.
Because I felt that there was no point.
Yep.
I felt that at that moment I was not proud of what I'm building. I felt like I wasn't helping my clients enough. I felt like I wasn't able to bring enough value. And even though a lot of it was factors that I couldn't control, but you can't help but blame yourself at that moment. And I felt such big burnout. I felt like I just want to stop. And I was listening to Jay Shetty, Jay Shetty,
Yes.
the Monk podcast. And he said something. He said that burnout is not caused by exhaustion. A lot of people think that I burn out because I'm too tired. I do this every day. I work every day. I'm too tired. I do the same thing again and again. But Shetty, he mentioned, right, Jay? He mentioned burnout is not caused by exhaustion. Burnout is caused by meaninglessness. I think that's so good. Like, when you feel like your life is not serving a purpose anymore, when you feel like your business is not serving its purpose anymore, that's where you get burnt out.
I hate Mondays.
Yeah. Because
hate Mondays.
you feel like your Mondays are not worth it
Yeah.
anymore. You feel like you're doing the same thing again and again for a company that doesn't have a deep purpose, a goal that doesn't have a deep purpose. And so I think that's it for me. I want to be proud of what I'm chasing. I want to be proud of the purpose that I'm currently striving for.
Wow,
That's very deep.
that's deep. I mean, coming from a 20-year, I'm really amazed as well, right? So,
Sorry, my body age 32 already.
oh yeah, old man already. I mean, like I said, one thing I find really fascinating is that when I was your age, I didn't know anything. Right?
Really?
I mean, I think our career path was different, right? So you're a young business owner, right? So I didn't have the mindset of being a business owner. I had a little bit of a traditional way, you know, like older people say, you must study hard, score good in your results, and then get to uni, graduate, find a good job, work the career ladder, buy a house, start a family. You know, there's those 10 steps to it, right? So
Yeah.
I follow it to the T.
Like
right?
the default, right?
Yeah,
That
it's
people
like the
already set for you.
default thing, right? And again, so it wasn't. That's why I said I'm amazed at your age. You know, you have such, I would say, maturity in a sense, and the perspective of thinking that okay, I want more in life. You know, I want more meaning in life, and that didn't arrive for me until my 30s. I would say. So I think where you're on right now is completely spot on, and I think. Having that pride in what you do and having meaning, that's part of life. That's part of life, I think. And personally, as a friend, I think you're being too hard on yourself. I would say. And just be kind to yourself.
Oh.
I think that you've achieved quite a bit at your age. Coming
Still
from
a lot
me.
more to learn from you.
Yeah, no, I've just done a lot of shit. That's why I know. I've just done a lot of shit that I know. But yeah, I mean, at your age, like we say, don't let the factors and other people impact you. As much as the professionalism and the perspective of always wanting to do more, but business owners, right? One of my bosses actually told us this story, right? So imagine a ship, right? And it has a lot of holes, right? So I think imagine that you're in a ship and a business owner, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of holes. You patch one hole, 2 holes pop up, right? And then you patch 2 holes, another 3 holes pop up, right? So essentially, there will never be a happy ever after, right?
There will never be truly stable.
There will
right?
never be truly stable. Stable is what you made out of it. Is what you want to accept in a sense where there are ups and there are downs. So if there's ups all the way, then what if one day you crash? Can you accept it? Are you able to mentally and emotionally accept failure? There's so many cases where people are always perfect, and one day they do not hit perfection, and that's where they crash.
Humble.
Right? So I think ups and downs. So there will be shit moments in life. I had so many shit moments in life. So I've learned to be kind to myself and allow myself to grieve, to feel sad. Whatever, go through the motions, right? And then when it's time to put on my big girl pants and climb back up again, and that's where you do it. So up and down, and I think that's where you learn a lot more in life versus just striving for perfection and just not being too hard on yourself. And what's important is just having good people around you just to keep you in check. Like, hey, you're actually doing this, so that you can then remember your proud moments. Yep.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah. So don't stress
Yeah.
out too much. Don't stress out too much.
Let's go to this last question.
Yep.
And after this, maybe we can conclude with our closer. I just thought of this. I think it's a really good question because for me, as someone in my 20s, there are a few milestones that I kind of like. Before 25,
Want to
you
achieve.
must be like this. Before 23, you must be like this. Okay, and some of those goals I already cannot capai. Pass already. And I tend to feel really bad about myself for that. But I'm pretty sure that you've went through those things as well. Goals that you had but you couldn't achieve. How do you deal with that?
Right. So Sky, life does not happen as the way you planned it. Okay. So I had a list of things, what kind of career I want. So I worked in fitness industry for more than 12 years, and recently I just shift to a different industry. right? I had a marriage, and I thought it was going to last for quite some time, and it just didn't work out, right? So one thing that I've learned is, as much as you plan and you want things to happen, and sometimes life just happens, right? And in terms of milestones, and if you don't hit it, and I always tell this to my daughter, right? So if it happens, it happens, in a sense where, but what's important is you learning how to bounce back from it. And if you don't pull yourself out from that dark space, or the dark hole that you're in, like, imagine you're in a dark hole and you're stuck in there, right? And if you don't put in the work to genuinely want to improve yourself or change the situation that you're in, then you're never going to get out of it, right? So I think having the awareness to, number one, just being kind to yourself at first. Okay, this thing happened, okay? Some of it may be my control or not within my control, but life happens, right? So acceptance. And then secondly would be then allowing yourself time to feel whatever you're feeling, because emotions are big, right? You may feel sad, you may feel angry, you may be in denial and whatnot. So just allowing all that feelings to come in and allow yourself to just feel it, right? And I think the third step would be just, okay, now so you've done all that, so now it's then time to slowly climb back out. Do the work, identify what the issues was and learn from it, and if it's something that you are the problem, then I have to fix something about myself, right? Or if anything, right? So just like I said, practicing healthy boundaries, knowing what works, what doesn't work, and treat it as a life lesson, right? Because if, as much as you're fixated on a certain path, but it doesn't always necessarily go the way you want it to be, right? But I think the most important part about it is just stepping out from it, learning and growing from it, and then you grow into a version of yourself that you never knew existed, right? But you only become stronger. I believe you only become stronger because life gets harder, right? And God tests us in a way that and He won't throw us things that we can't handle, right? And that's where you learn true resilience about yourself. You learn true discipline about yourself. Then you know what you can or you cannot take. And the most important, just step out from there. So that's how I would say, if things don't go my way, and that's how I have been handling it in a way. And having supportive people and supportive friends is very, very important. Just to keep you in check, right? To be your cheerleader, to know when you need support and when you need help. So I think, that's important. What about you? When you say, like, you said you were hard on yourself and things like that, right? So based on what I shared, right? So what are your thoughts?
I think it's exactly what you said. Life goes on. Something that I learned listening to you is that you can have plan A, plan B, plan C, but if the universe or if God just doesn't want you to get it, life goes on. Life has to go on, and it's not about falling down, but it's about getting up, right?
Absolutely.
You haven't failed unless you die.
And
technically, right? The only actual failure is if you are already underground.
Correct.
Right? And you can't do anything about it anymore. And that's very true. A strong community, strong people to support you. For me, a strong partner, a strong spouse, maybe. For you, maybe family,
friends.
People who are just there to remind you that you are worthy. Because in moments where you fail, usually the biggest hit it takes is on your self-worth.
Definitely.
On yourself. So, it's a very, very wonderful session today. Very fun doing a podcast. So let's close with this very fast question. We're going to have this question in every single one of our episodes. After today's episode, what do you understand better about your age? What do you understand better about my age?
I think what I understand better about your age, I would say, very different I would say. I think the modern advancement of technology and time has actually definitely shifted the mindset and thinking of a 20-year-old. So like I mentioned, when I was 20, I was still partying. I was still technically like a kid trying to be an adult. Right? A kid trying to be an adult.
I am too,
trying to prove myself, right? And the mindset is definitely different. I think right now with the opportunities of technology and advancement of AI, you guys are getting smarter, right? You guys are getting smarter. You guys are getting more efficient. And I think boundaries are also something. I mean, I work with younger people, right? And if they don't like it, they say no, right? Back then, we cannot say no. We say yes, boss. Everything yes, right? But if they don't like it, they say no. And some of my peers hate those kind of Gen Zs per se, where they're like, oh my God, they're so manja. You know, they can't take criticism, and they can't deal with all that. But for me, I understand where they're coming from, because they see what we endured and they just don't want that for themselves. So I think what I've learned about the 20s is that the advancement of technology and AI has just shifted your mindset, your perception, and how your take on life. Yeah, from you, Steph. Definitely from you.
I see. So one thing that I got from this episode about people from your age, people in their 30s, I learned about the true having good values in your life and how important that is. I think as someone young, we tend to put our foundations in the wrong values. And life goes on, like what you mentioned. Life goes on. Whether you achieve this financial goal or not, whether you are, you achieve this goal or this achievement by a certain age, life goes on. And what I learned from you is that look for the right values. Place your self-worth on the right values, not on the wrong things. Put it on things that matter. Put it on things that can actually build you and will be with you for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Instead of things that are out of your control. I think that's a big key to staying sane
Yes.
as a 20-year-old. So that's about it.
Yep.
For our very first episode, you have fun?
I had fun, lots of fun.
I had a lot of fun. We are so excited. We're going to be shooting a second episode right after this.
Yes.
So yeah, we hope that you enjoyed. It's our first time doing this. So if you have any thoughts or any feedback, feel free to let us know. We're doing this just for fun lah, right? Totally just for fun. So yeah, see you on the next episode of 2030. Bye-bye. Nice.
Okay. Woo, woo.